We'll see what our players have in store for us. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ghost River, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Vitality. It is Solar. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Protoss player from South Korea, representing Club NV. It is Creator. Okay. Now, a lot of what just happened in the previous game, as we deny the expansion, that is going to make things a little bit more awkward, specifically on this map, as the third base is so far away and so much more exposed. But what I was about to say is that here on Ghost River in this matchup as well, a lot of the same things apply, where aggression is favored on this map. We've seen a lot of 2-base all-ins, a lot of 3-base all-ins, a lot of all-ins in general here on Ghost River. On the flip side, though, we've also seen some scenarios, especially against in Terran matchups and a little bit in ZvP, where the map can be cut in half. You can split the map in half. The reason for this is because your side of the map is covered by ramps. Like, you have all these points of elevation, and if you're able to have map vision and be aware of the positioning of your opponent, then pushing up any of these ramps into an army is brutal. It can be quite difficult here, and you can secure yourself and just hunker down and turtle up. But again, usually this is the case in like TVP or ZvT or even TVT in those sorts of matchups. But we'll see. We'll see if this matchup also does embrace that. What I'm getting at is, could be a short game, could be a long one. It's a map of extremes. But now, gate expanded. Cybercore, standard opener from Creator. We have the pylon in the main base, looking like a Stargate opener from our Protoss player. Shall see. Back at home, Solo going for a hatch gas pull, force like the unnatural natural is going to make things a little bit more awkward for him, but at the same time, at this point in the meta, where like a lot of Zerg players, they're used to expanding in this kind of setup and defending in this kind of setup as well. I'm sure Solar isn't too frustrated by this. I'm sure he's all good. Meanwhile, Cybercore is done. Warp Gate is being researched for now. Interesting. So I was gonna say that the pylon looks like a Stargate opener because it's a little bit more exposed out in the open, but no, it's gonna be a Twilight Council as we do not cancel Warp Gates. Okay. Now, Solar dipping in with the Overlord will confirm this if he gets eyes on the researching building. I'm not too sure if he did, as he does pull back a little bit earlier. And this could be one of a couple of different things. This could be Glaive Adepts, could be a DT-based opener instead. We haven't pulled out a gas yet, though. If we pull out a gas, and if we stay 2-2, then it's going to be 4-gate Glaive Adepts. Speaking of, we are somewhat pulling out a gas here. Otherwise, we could embrace a more tech-heavy style and go for a Dark Shrine. But there it is. Glaives on the way. Yep, there we go. We have 2-2. So only 4 workers mining gas. 4-gate Glaive Adepts is going to be the answer here for Creator. Now, this is not an all-in. This is an aggressive build to get ahead. This is designed to get some worker damage, to cripple your opponent's economy while you take a third base, while you expand, and while you transition out of this. So we'll see what Creator can get done. Obviously, this could also kill, true. It's designed to harass and deal some economic damage, but it could just kill Solar, true. We've seen that before. As Solar back at home, going for a safety Roach Warren at around the 4-minute mark. So the Roach Warren will finish up in time. Joining up. And Solar, interesting. Gonna be joining up to around 40. This is around the work count you want to stop at. 40 workers, Lings are on the way. Roach production momentarily. We have Overlords to make sure we don't get supply blocked. And here it comes Creator. And Solar has the tools to defend. It all comes down to the execution. It all comes down to whether Solar can keep up with the Adepts, whether Creator can catch Solar off guard. But now Queens are in position. We zone away the Adepts for now. Shading in between the bases. Rotating towards the third. And the Adepts do not commit as Lings are chasing them down. And you can see Creator just taking a very tentative approach so far, going for another warp in. Back at home, we have pulled back in. Okay. That means that behind this we can start immortal production and head for that third. There's that third base as the probe is sent out. Haven't committed yet. And this has forced a big reaction out of Solar. It did delay his economy, that is true, but we haven't killed anything yet, which is a little bit concerning. Likewise, I don't want to throw away these adepts. At this point, we have plenty of lings and roaches. Like, we can deal with this. Solar, he's safe and sound. Now it's on Creator to make sure he doesn't throw this away. Let's make sure he doesn't lose these adepts. He's going to be backing off. Immortal production has commenced. Very important here that we get these immortals up and running to survive the counterattack. You have adepts for the lings, immortals for the roaches. And 2 adepts do make their way into the main. But we are in position. And the adepts are forced out. Flare is on the way. We're able to re-drone. Getting to our Evo chambers. Getting into eventually roach speed. So Solar is catching up. And Creator is taking his base. You can see here that Creator is still threatening the bases of Solar, so he has to make sure he splits up his army. He stays back at home. This War Prism does pose a big threat. Like 2 adepts, one-shot workers. You have to take them seriously. And we're calming down. Calming things down. We have Blink on the way. A big downside as well of this opener is that our follow-up upgrades are quite delayed. For example, there's +1. +1 just now starting here. Just now on the way. Lings they try to harass. Good force fields. Catch out some lings. And Solar he has to think twice of pushing out. Who retreats. Hallucination gets eyes on the saturation. Gets eyes on the gases. On the droning. And on the 4th base. So Creator he sees it Solar. He's just macroing up. We have a Bailey Nest on the way, so it's going to be Ling Bane Roach Ravager. Meanwhile, Creator, he's going to be taking more defensive stance. Like, Creator can't really push. Not right now. Doesn't have the supply for it. He has to stay back at home, has to turtle up, take a 4th base, get into a 2nd robo. Speaking of, there's a 2nd robo on the way. That's for double Colossus production. And Creator is turtling up. If you remember, we spoke about some of the unique features of this map, and I was referring to some of the Terran-based matchups, about how these ramps are brutal to push into, and you can turtle up quite well. Protoss could do something similar here. I mean, you saw the force fields earlier. Like, as long as Creator can keep up with the movement of Solar, he can defend even with a smaller army. Speaking of, Solar rotates towards the south. Creator does spot it. See him getting ready. Solar tries to shut down that Observer as well, as the Observer is chasing the army of Solar. Shield batteries are on the way, cannons as well. Colossus in production. Here come the Bailey. Solar, he's going to commit. He's going to commit here towards the 3rd base. Blink is done. Creator getting ready. And show us those force fields. The force field is going to be like the most important thing, the most important factor in this fight. Bailey speed is about to finish. You can see Solar at 180 supply is pushing in. We block off the left-hand side, and we do try to block off the right. But the Baileys, they make their way through. They try to at least. They're headed for the Mineral Lions, but they're going to be crashing into the Stalkers. And Baileys, they do just crash into the main army. Colossus, they do arrive in time, and we do not touch the economy. The probes, they're safe and sound, and Creator holds. Get a beautiful concave here. What did go down in that fight? Sentries and Stalkers. Just gateway units. Acceptable losses. Creator, he holds on, chases down the roaches. Again, really nice body blocking out of Creator as well with those Stalkers, making sure the Banelings could not break in. Stalkers, they do an amazing job at tanking Banelings. And Solar is now in a rough position. Solar's on 69 drones. Nice. Creator's on 71. Creator, he has a better economy. We're working on a 4th base. Solar was pretty committed there, and this means that our follow-up tech is delayed. Our hive is a little bit later, infestation was a little bit later. Looks like Solar wants to work towards Hydralisk or Viper, I would imagine. But it's gonna take a while to get there. going to take a while here. Creator trying to catch a queen, doesn't quite get one. Is going to pull back. There's no Hydrogen, by the way. This hive is at least going to be for Vipers, but I'm curious if we go for an Ultra Cavern or the Hydrogen. We are working on +2 melee. Like, if we wanted Lurkers, the Hydrogen would be done by now, just so we can start Lurker upgrades as soon as the hive is done. Scout does confirm the hive. So it's going to be Ultras, right? Solo taking a 5th. Creator still harassing, getting up on bases, getting into his 4th, even base count here with his opponents. And my god, how many Colossus do we have? 5! Yo, I thought 4 was a lot earlier when we saw Classic go for 4 Colossus against Oliveira. But we have 5. My god, the laser drops are real. And we have a death ball of an army. We're pushing out, we're maxed out. So is Solar with Lingbane Roach Ravager. But here comes a Colossus. At 200 supply. We can, of course, juggle with the War Prism as well. Solar has a hive, but has no hive upgrades or hive tech. Just a lair-based army. We try to come in from behind. We try to go for this round. The force fields are too good. Oh my god! And the Banelings, they melt here against the force fields. 1 Colossus goes down, but we have 4 left. Those force fields were insane. The Lingbane did nothing. And Solar's in trouble. Solar's in a lot of trouble as we're going to keep on pushing. We have momentum on our side. We have 4 Colossus left over. Vipers are on the way, but it's too late. We can keep pushing. We can keep going. We have 2 Vipers in production. I mean, if given time, we can use that to help deal with the Colossus. True. Can deal with that. Creator taking it slow. Very slow here. This Creator doesn't want to throw things away. Chipping away at the Lingbane. A lot of Lingbane has been rebuilt. You can see the Creator, he wants Solar to push into this ramp again. Like he wants that fight, but it's not going to happen. Solar does snipe that Observer. Stalkers are gaining ground. We're wearing up a good amount of Lingbane. But the Vipers are now out. And they're full of energy. We can yoink. Stalkers still pushing in. But we do waste some Banelings here on some Stalkers. Vipers sharking around. Now there's going to be a bit of a dance here between our armies. It's going to be on Creator to snipe those Vipers with his Stalkers. It's going to be on the Vipers to avoid the Stalkers and snipe the Colossus. And we'll see if they can. Again, Solar still up against the wall. Creator has cleared up a lot of creep. Easing his way in. Taking his time. More slow and methodical approach here. Lingbane pushing off of creep. Oh, this is not the fight you want to be taking, though. And again, that is Creator's hope. There we go. Pushes on forward. Solar collapsing with his main army. Does joink one of the Colossus. Gets a second. And 2 Colossus get yoinked, but we have 2 more behind this. Oh, and we run out of Lingbane. Yoinking an Immortal, we blink in, we snipe 1. Oh, only 1. And yeah, Creator, he just has too much momentum on his side, even with those abductions, even with losing 2 Colossus. The Immortal survived, one of them did. And we can just out-trade Solar. Being forced further and further back, just down to Roach Ravager. Not much else. And GG gets called as the writing is on the wall, and Creator will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. I was a little bit concerned that Creator was taking too long. Solo was successfully getting into Vipers towards the end, but it was still only Lingbane Roach Ravager, and Solo was still bleeding out a lot of Lingbane, a lot of really inefficient trades from Solar. Again, that initial defense at the 3rd base was really impressive from Creator. If you remember, he had the arc, he had the concave, he was able to blink back, force field, not just the ramp, but also force field the main army as well, and he was able to trade so efficiently there, able to bounce back from an otherwise difficult position. And Creator, he just snowballed out of control from there, getting up to 5 Colossus, which is crazy. And Solo was just stuck on Ling Main Road Ravager. He was stuck on a subpar army. He was behind in the economy, if you remember, because of his initial aggression. Like, he was down in workers and he had to try to catch up. And sure, he had a hive, but there was nothing else there, really. GG. GG, well played. Creator takes the lead. And now we're diving into game number 2. Let's go. It's catching up. Hey chat, good morning, lights. Buenos dias. Buenos dias, papi. You say good morning, I say good evening. It is 5 p.m. almost. Yeah, 5 p.m. here in the land of Australia. Good day, good day. Hope you're doing well. And we are diving into game 2. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of side Delta, we have our South Korean Zerg player. The blue Zerg, representing Team Vitality, it is Solar. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the red Protoss player, representing Club NV, leading the series 1-0, it is Creator. And last game was a really interesting one because, on the one hand, sure, Creator went for a Glaive Adept build, and it literally did no damage. It didn't kill a single worker. It did force a reaction out of the Zerg player, but it didn't really kill anything. And he was still able to recover from there, and I do feel like a big factor of that was the map. We spoke about how defendable it could be, and I'm pretty sure the map did play a part in Creator's defense at his third base, in his ability to be able to hold on there, to be able to out-trade his opponent and get ahead from that point. I feel like on some of these other maps where the third base is a little more wide open, like Side Delta for example, it would be more difficult to really pull off a defense quite like that. Regardless, GG. GG well played to Creator. Takes the lead in the series, and now we're settling into game number 2. For now, Gate Expand, Standard Opener. Gate Expand into the Cybercore. We can see that Solo once again was forced to take the unnatural natural. After the 4-gate glaives in game 1, I don't expect to see that again in this series. It did work, true, but even if a build like that works, typically at this level of play, you don't want to do the same build 2 games in a row, or even again in the same series, just because your opponent is going to be that much more ready for it. Like, I'm sure Creator respects Solar enough to be aware that he would be a lot more mentally and physically prepared for the same build. So we'll see what Creator goes for. Shall see. For now, Standard Openers, which is joining up, working towards eventual third base. Pylon has been thrown down, not right up against the wall here, so I'm curious if it's going to be a Stargate or another Twilight Council. Even if it is a Twilight Council, it doesn't have to be Glaives. You can see it is thrown down as close to the edge as possible, and it is going to be a Stargate opener from Creator. It is going to be more standard. Should be an Oracle opener to get into a third base, to get into the mid game. So a much more standard build here. And again, Side Delta, the map is quite larger compared to Ghost River, for example. So getting into a more longer macro game would make a lot more sense here for both players to comfortably kind of get into the swing of things. With a lot less tension than Ghost River, for example. Dev does get across the map, going to be threading the mineral line. Does dip in. And, oh, are we going to get a drone? We are. Whew, just barely one worker does go down. Not a bad pickup here. That should not have happened. We get a Ling as well. Second Adept has arrived. Now we can one-shot drones. And Solar needs to tighten up his defenses here. We need a cleaner defense because losing one drone already is brutal. And we shouldn't lose too much more as we come into the shade. Oh, bit of a misclick there. We do get one more drone. To attack the hatchery, second drone goes down. We're going to get 3. We're going to get up. Almost a 4th. But the Lings did lock down the army, and we will clean this up. Whew. Just in time. So we have to count. It's going to be 4 drone kills for 2 Adepts. That is a much better trade for Creator. And the aggression has only just begun, because here comes the Oracle. We have 1 Oracle moving out. 2nd Oracle's on the way. Lings move out to deny the 3rd. But Creator should have that 2nd Oracle soon to defend that 3rd base, to make sure it gets up and running. The Spore was repositioning! Oh, we get 2 more drones, 6 in total. Looks like the Lings, they will get on top of that probe, and they will force back. and delay the third. Third base is going to be delayed for a couple of seconds, but with the help of this Oracle, we should be able to expand. This Creator does get out. Again, only 2 kills on this first Oracle, but now we have our second, soon to be a third Oracle as well. Creator is going to be looking for more damage, and is working on his transition into Blink. I'm going to say Blink, this is Twilight Council, but where is the Forge? I'm dying a little bit. Interesting. No Forge, by the way, so this could take a couple of different approaches here. We could rush into really fast Blink and go for a 3-base all-in. This could be for Glaives, for a bit of a to blindside our opponents, but there it is. Blink is on the way. Gateway Explosion behind this. This does look like the beginnings of a 3-base all-in. That's why there is no Forge. That's why there is no +1. 6 gates for now. We'll keep an eye on the gateway count to see if we go up to 8. As the Oracles, they dip into the natural. Ooh, more drones going down, 9 in total. And more gateways are on the way. We have confirmation. Yep, it's going to be an 8-gate 3-base all-in from Creator. I say 8 gates. We can throw down a 9th gateway to reinforce across the map as a proxy location. We shouldn't be taking gases at the 3rd. It's just going to be mass Blink Stalker. And again, there's no kind of longevity here. There's no Robo for eventual like Immortal or Colossus production. There's no Bay, there's no Forge, there's no +1. It's just pure vanilla Blink Stalker. Just pure Blink Stalker. They're coming. And it is a good way to kill your opponents if the Zerg player did take too much damage. Like, Hero is so good at this as well, where if he kills too many workers early on, he will just all-in you to just end you. Because he knows that the Zerg player is stuck re-droning and resaturating. Roach Warren is just now finishing, and the Stalkers are moving out. Here we go. We do have a couple of safe straps behind this. How many so far? 12 so far. No proxy pylon, no proxy gateway. We do have a very late Forge behind this, but it is on the way, so Creator is thinking further ahead. And as the Stalkers move out, Lings, they move in. They're going for the 3rd, and they're going to surround the Shield Battery. Shield Battery does go down. Stalkers have arrived. They're going to be knocking down at least the 4th. The Lings are chased away. Yeah, this hatchery, it's going to fall. There's no saving it. I mean, the Lings, they come in for a surround. They're going to try to engage. We save the base. Oh, we barely do. The Oracles, they need to be here to support. And Lings, they come in for a surround. Stalker reinforcements have arrived. How many Stalkers went down here? 3. We got 3 Stalkers in that surround. Not bad. And it looks like Solo wants to commit. He wants to save this base. He's going to commit hard. Stasis is baited out. More Stalkers on the way. As a reminder, again, 8 gateways behind this. No additional gases, just mass Blink Stalker. And it's becoming too much. You can see how heavily this just snowballs out of control. We're getting on top of the Queens. They're going down one after the other. There's no more transfused energy. Running out of Lings as well. Now we're trading with Roaches. How good are the Blinks? The Oracles are cleaned up. But we chase out the army. Creator, he's going for the kill. He wants it. Being forced back. It's barely being forced back. But here come reinforcements. Here comes a 2nd wave. A 3rd wave even. Again, Solo barely trying to hold on. And hey, he saves the base. True, but what about the army? What about just the main force of Solar? He's being overwhelmed. Running out of Roaches. Again, just too much momentum on Creator's side. Saving this 4th base. I don't think Solo realized how committed Creator was, and did bleed out a lot of Lings earlier trying to save this, and it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it in the end. As we have another reinforcing wave of Stalkers. Hatchery went down. Again, you can see Solo barely treading water here, barely forcing this back. Focusing down as many of these Blink Stalkers as he can. But you can see he's down to 3 Roaches. We're down to 3 Roaches. GG gets called. It's just too much to bear. And Creator will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Again, a very decisive attack there from Creator. I do think that if Solar knew how committed Creator was, we spoke about it. We spoke about how there was no other tech. There was a very late Forge. There was a Forge, to be fair, but it didn't really come into play. It was essentially a 3-base all-in from Creator. If Solar was aware of that, maybe we decide not to save the hatchery, not to commit as hard, to build up our Roach count instead. We saw that with the initial Ling battle that we had, we only killed 3 Stalkers. 3 Stalkers went down, and sure, we saved the base, but we bled out so many Lings, and those Lings are so important here for Solar. The Roaches do the damage, I mean, Lings do as well, but Lings are so necessary to buffer for those Roaches as well. Once Roaches start going down, it's kind of the beginning of the end there. It's just a brutal defense from Solar, and was caught off guard, was blindsided by Creator. GG, well played. Creator advances on. Solar is eliminated from the tournament. GG, well played. Oh, Solar struggling here. I mean, went down to Creator. In general, I would say that Solar is favored against Creator, but every now and then Creator, he pops off, and yeah, just really aggressive builds here, both in Game 1 and Game 2. Remember, Game 1 was 4 Gate Claves into a Death Ball of a Colossus army. It was a wild game. I'll remember that for a while. Here in Game 2, did a really great job harassing, and again, just went for a decisive 3-base play afterwards. And now we have one quarterfinals match left. Up next is Dark versus Nightmare in another ZvP.